Welcome back to Swiss Life of TV. I am Poetry. You are here for another recap and review. This is of The Handmaid's Tale. We are on season 6, episode 7, Shattered. I first want to say I apologize for the delay of these videos. I am dealing with a lot of things that are distracting me, so just give me patience, give me grace. But we will still have all these videos done by Tuesday, and we will still have our live watch party Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on my Discord channel. I will drop a link for the invite on this video so that way you can come in and join us. We have like at least 5 people that's going to show up right now, and that's a nice little crowd. I like that. And where we could watch the show together, we could discuss it together and all that good stuff, right? You will not need your own platform. I will be streaming it myself. That's all you got to do is come in, sit down and watch and engage. That's all you have to do. If you are unaware, I am from St. Louis, Missouri. My city was struck by a disastrous tornado on May 16th. I have been collecting donations via my business, SurviveBeauty.com. I have a skincare line. If you wasn't aware, because I don't normally dress up and doing all that stuff, but my skincare line is like lotions, body butters, lipstick, nail repair, hair care, all of that there, right? You can go there and purchase a product, and I would donate 50% of your total sales. That includes the shipping that you paid. 50% of your total sales will go towards the disaster relief in St. Louis, Missouri, because the government is not coming. The Trump administration has not declared that a natural disaster, so they do not have FEMA coming in to relieve them of the disaster. Over 5,000 homes and businesses were destroyed, lives were lost, thousands more injured. And the city is taking it upon themselves to come together and provide relief efforts to the people who were affected. I, being of the community but not living there any longer, I'm doing so by the way of my business. Again, if you don't want to make a purchase, you can also still donate through my website through the donation link, and 100% of your proceeds will go towards the disaster relief. If you don't feel like you trust me for whatever reason, you can look up any local agencies that are providing disaster relief in the area and donate that way, from Missouri down to Kentucky, because Kentucky was affected as well. And again, I'll drop my website link, www.SurviveBeauty.com, in the link so you can make purchases as well, and I can get those donations. So off to the video. Thank you again for all those who have already made purchases. Last week I talked about the guy tooth being dislocated. I didn't see where that happened. They did a replay of what happened last week, and I saw when Moira struck him across his face, possibly dislocating the tooth. Now it didn't fly out like they do in the Deadpool movies and things like that, but there was definitely a strike across his face. So go ahead and correct myself. Y'all know I'm only wrong 1.23456% of the time. I was even wrong saying that percentage. Okay, anywho, we opened up with Nick and June still in that room together. So he wasn't physically gone. It was just in her mind. He was erased. And I had said that at the end of the video too. They are still listening closely to Wharton tell Saria Joy everything that went down in Jezebel's when it got raided. Every step-by-step detail that Nick was able to share with them in order to take Jezebel's out. And it's crazy how he's saying that he avoided a massacre by simultaneously creating a massacre. The Guardians wrangled all of those Jezebel women into the shower, and they were gunned down by automatic weapons. And somehow, just by a stroke of luck, Janine escaped another death. Okay? Janine has been through some shit. She's escaped a suicide death. You know, she was involved in the toxic wastelands. She survived that. She was in Chicago and where a building got bombed. She survived that. And now she survives this massacre as well. And I was like, wait a minute, did Nick think to call and say, hey, get her out of there? Let's save my woman's friend, the friend that she said she was here to help. Let's do that. Is that what happened? Because they got a call that says not the redhead, not the one with the patch. Okay, the Guardians rotated every hour. I'm quite sure that they didn't know specifically who Janine was by name, so it had to be by description. You know what I'm saying? And if it was Nick's call to save Janine only, Then tell me again what Nick can't do for Hannah. I don't understand. Why would Wharton show her grace? I didn't get that either. It didn't make sense to me. They literally lined these women up against the wall. They wanted them on the wall. They got them on the wall. They lined them up against the wall and sprayed them down with automatic rifles. But not after saying, not her, and pulled Janine away. Well, while they're listening to what's going down, June is just standing there looking at Nick in disbelief. He too much of a yellow-bellied coward to me. He couldn't even look her in her eyes. Luckily for them, baby Noah really did awaken. And Serena Joy was able to get Wharton out of the house. Now, I said this last week. Where is Nick's car? And why Wharton does not see Nick's car? Okay. Well, when they saw that the coast was clear, they come out of the other room. And Nick says, your friend was taken. She's safe. I'll find out where she went, though. So it wasn't Nick. It wasn't Nick that got Janine out. Because you would know where they took her to. But why would you know that Janine was taken anyway? Were you physically there when it all went down? Was you physically there when it happened? Nick said that Wharton wanted the whole place gone. But he never said that the women themselves were going to be hurt or harmed. June realized, what you mean, they dead? Okay. Nick's silence spoke volumes. Here's the thing. When you made your choice, June, to give up those women because of Nick, they could have died too. But I guess this time, since Nick went behind your back and didn't tell you that he was working with them, now it's a problem for you. Now you got a conscience. He tells her they dead. They dead. But he didn't think Wharton would do that. And I was like, really? So who saved Janine? Okay. Why was there a choice to save Janine? How did she get a pass from an event that you didn't know was going to happen? You didn't know Wharton was going to gun the girls down. So why did Janine get saved? I didn't get this. So it's like, I'm baffled in my mind here. Her only response was, take me back. That long 5-hour drive. They didn't speak at all, child. They got close to the destination and she insisted on getting out the car. Like, we almost there, let me out, okay? Nick said the same thing that I have always thought. June, you never cared what or how he did it when it was time to help her specifically. He said, I killed 2 of the guardians to protect you and your friends and your husband. Okay, but I was like, no, Nick, that's revisionist history. You did not do that to protect them. You killed those guardians to protect you. Let's be honest, boo. Okay. But anywho, he says, you pretend I'm not a commander. You pretend I'm not an I. Unless it suits you. So he just confirmed that he's still an I. He's a commander and an I. So that answers all the questions I had from 2 videos ago. I was wrong about that too. But he not lying. He not lying. She does pretend. But June says she's never pretended. Then what you doing, girl? If you ain't pretending, what you doing? Oh, my bad. You weren't pretending. You was making a choice to overlook his truths. You was making a choice, even though you argued tooth and nail to everybody else who was in opposition of how different he was supposed to be, how different he was, how he wasn't like them. You argued them down. You argued them down. But you weren't pretending. So there had to be a choice. June was like, you just gave those women to save yourselves, as have you. These damn, they're the same women, if I'm not mistaken. He like, yeah, I did. That's human nature, sis. Human nature. You say, why? Tell them that it's human nature. Why do you do me this way? June, girl, look at the pot calling the kettle black. This has also been your way. It's been human nature. You just like them, she says. Girl, you got some traits too. But that don't matter. Because Nick says, because it doesn't matter. Because you love me for it anyway. So what the fuck does that make you? My snapper did not come on, but you know what I was trying to do? You know what I was trying to do? I'm listening. What does that make you, girl? He said everything I felt. Everything I felt. I love the fact that they are writing bits and pieces of my point of view into these last episodes. But the fact of the matter is, June will have most of y'all still convinced that she ain't got a stain on her. That everything that she has done has just been out of the trauma that she has experienced. A lot of times, and this is just not in June's case, but in everybody's case, the traumas that we experience enhances the type of person that we already are. We could be locked into captivity, and that captive state would show us if we were the type of person who was ready to fight, or we were the type of person who was ready to just survive. And survival doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily fight. It means that you just want to make sure you do everything and anything you got to do to survive, including succumb to the ways of the oppressor, which is what June was experiencing initially. I said June was never really a fighter. She was never really a fighter. She's been kind of forced into this way of life. And the fact that people try to say, oh, this is how you always been. No, it wasn't. When she was always was the person who was just going to survive no matter what. Okay. This reminds me of the Republicans. The GOPers. They still convince themselves every fucking day that the racism, the misogyny, the homophobic nature of our fucking dude in charge could be overlooked. Long as he saves the economy, long as he lowers the price of eggs, which he ain't fucking did yet. That all of his bad ways, everything he's done throughout his life in history, could be overshadowed by what they think is good for them. Not for all, not for the community, but for them specifically. They still support him. The GOP leadership, oh, I'm just going to vote for the GOP in the local elections, and I'm just not going to vote for Trump during the presidency. Not understanding that these motherfuckers are the ones that's going to support his ass. They not putting him in check. They supporting him. About to go on a rant. I had to calm down for a second. Anyway, he attempted to walk away without verbalizing, or she attempted to walk away without verbalizing her utter disgust. For me, it didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for me. I would have hopped in his fucking car and mowed him down. I was like, watch her go back to Luke and be all in love. Watch her go back to Luke and be all in love. Like, I want to be with you, Luke. Watch her do it. Aunt Lydia, she goes to Jezebel's. It's amazing to me how she keep walking her ass up in Jezebel's. She go to Jezebel's after it's all said and done and starts to break down at the sight of the blood and the bullet holes all in the walls. She comes across Charlotte's pictures for Janine, or Charlotte's picture that she drew for Lawrence, and Lawrence gave to Janine. And I can't even lie, I wished she would have dropped dead from a broken heart right there where she stood, if she ever had one. I wished that the walls of Jericho would have came tumbling down on her ass, because the building should have been unstable as fuck. I don't have one iota of sympathy for her ass either. Not one. Because you helped do this to them. You helped do this to them, my lady. You were not absolved either. June walks back into the hold-up. That's what I'm calling the Renaissance house. And I guess none of the contacts had told them what happened, so she needed to deliver the news. But when she gets inside, she hears them talking about the massacre. So she's aware that they got the word. And I was like, is she going to tell him that she told Nick about the plans and that's what led to the massacre? When Luke came up and asked her, she said it. She said she told Nick. Because he said they were trying to figure out how the fuck it all happened. All right. So She said it so matter of factly, like having soup for dinner, you know. And I know you wanted steak. I mean, I told Nick. That's kind of how she kept on shaking her head, you know. Yeah, I told him. Like so I'm the one that told him, my bad. That's basically how she was. And it was annoying the shit out of me, right? Okay. Luke was like, how did he fucking know? I thought I could trust him. And she nods again. I thought I could trust him. So you should be fine with it because I thought I could trust him, right? Like, deal with it. Luke said he's a commander in Gilead. And he doesn't give a shit about the resistance at all, okay? I'm telling you, I think she intentionally did it. I think she intentionally told him in order to fuck up Luke's plans. Because she wants to be the fucking savior. Okay, maybe not intentionally. Maybe not direct, you know. But it was still in her intent inside of her. If I was the resistance, she would not still be standing there in my fucking living room. She would not be in that building, not be on our grounds with us. I would be packing up camp, moving to another fucking location, because ain't no telling what else she told Nick. I mean, they got close. If she wasn't mad at him, he probably would have dropped her all the way to the front door. Okay? He probably do know where their location is. Put her ass out. Blindfold her, drop her off in the middle of the fucking woods, but get her the hell away from y'all. That's what I would do. Okay? I don't know why nobody else joined in this conversation that she was having with Luke. But Luke called her on her shit for a minute, you know. You've been running around here like he's your fucking savior all because you've been pining for him. You know, ever since you got back. I see it. I see it. Oh, the tears just welled up in her eyes. They pleaded for his understanding, and she said, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. He said, how about not being in love with a fucking Nazi? Shit. How about that? Why is she still there? Why kick her ass out? Ship her back to Alaska. Something, but get her the fuck away from the movement. I don't understand why she's still standing there. Now, Nick, I guess he decided not to go to Paris after all, because he back in New Bethlehem. He said he had passports and paperwork already ready, but why stay there? Okay? Because he's just like them. Those are his people. And after he did that 5-hour long drive back from the border to New Bethlehem, you know, Rita decided to stop by unannounced. See if June made it out okay. And Rita like, no, don't worry, you gonna see her again. Nick's like, nah, that's done with. You know what I'm saying? She think I'm a monster. That's because you are. Okay. Rita said, boy, I've known you a long time. Despite you being an overseer and now an eye and a commander, you're a good man. Fuck you, Rita. I'm just saying. He says, not with her. Without her, I'm none of these things. Rita says, you were. And look, I'm going to tell y'all, because I ain't never liked Rita either. I think I said that before in like some earlier seasons. I have never liked Rita. I've never liked her gullible ass. Oh my gosh. I've given her a pass. I've given her a pass because she's brainwashed too. The same pass I used to give June. But good God, she burns me up. I swear for goodness. How easily swayed is she? She always finds reasons to justify their behaviors. And she used their actions. She justifies their actions by using her faith. You know what I'm saying? And so she like, we friends, Nick. Me and you, both, we her. You know, we friends. We was friends way before June came along. He said, we ain't never been friends. What the fuck you talking about? We ain't been nothing but afraid of one another. That's it. We would have crossed each other the second we had a chance. I was like, yeah, I don't believe that. I believe her gullible ass would not have crossed you. You would have crossed her, but she would not have crossed you. June's, I don't know. Nah, she wouldn't have crossed you. Not at all. And she was like, you know what, maybe, but not now. Not now. What has he done? Goodbye. Nick say, stop lying to yourself. You only saying that because you want me to save your fucking family. That's it. A good man would have been trying to help, girl. He's never been a good man, Rita. Rita asked, did you ever want to do what's right? No, I'll answer that for you. I don't care what come out of his mouth. His actions has always told me no. He's never wanted to do right. But she like, but I was counting on you. Why, baby? That's what he said. Why? This is Gilead. One for one and none for all her. Okay? So I guess he told her fuck her family in so many words. But speaking of family, Serena Joy is trying to explain to the wives what family life is like in New Bethlehem compared to Gilead, where all the other women are. But they are not having it, okay? They gonna vote the way that their husbands want them to vote. My bad, more politics. That's Republican wives. Let me get back to the show. Okay. They agree with everything that the commanders decide. Okay. Including the fate of the handmaids. It's the only proper way to go. Okay. The way things are in Gilead right now is fine for them. They actually get to benefit from being a trade wife, kind of, sort of, without actually having to be barefoot, pregnant, cook, clean. Hell, some of them don't even have sex, and they happy with that. They walking on fucking sunshine. Serena Joy says, well, Naomi, you have your husband to thank for the progressive nature of New Bethlehem. And she and the other wives are like, thank him? That's a bit much, okay? That's a bit much. Do they not know what happened to Jezebel's? Do they not care? Okay, because Commander Joey, does he know that this house style takeover is now over? Okay, well, in the meantime, she alerts they alert her to the descent of the others about Wharton. And Serena Joy goes and tells Wharton what the other wives were talking about, and that the husbands are regretting New Bethlehem. And Wharton say, well, we just need to tell the people who the fuck we are. Remind them who we are, okay? Serena Joy said, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do it with a wedding, okay? Well, if that's the case, then the wedding has to be in Boston. It was supposed to be in New Bethlehem. So now they got to move everything to Boston. If they move everything to Boston, they're going to make it the biggest celebration ever for the highest commander. And I was like, is he speaking in theory about being the highest commander? Because they acted like Bale's daddy was the one who made decisions. That Bale's daddy was the one that was big draw. Bale's daddy, who we still don't even know who the fuck it is right now. Well, Our Lady makes it back to the Red Center just to be told the good news that the Janine is alive. Praise be, right? It was Bale who rescued her child. Well, not really rescued. That was another capture, because he wanted her to be the handmaid. So Nick had nothing to do with Janine's safety at all. That makes it even worse, Nick. But now I understand. Our Lady is flooded with relief, singing all the praises, that Janine is alive. Only to still be in captivity to one of the meanest bitches, one of the meanest bitch-made commanders there is, okay? Praise fucking be. Well, because Bale is over there beating Janine ass and taking full advantage of her body in every way that he wants to, Janine was standing in the window, facing all battered, her face all bruised. It looked like blood was dripping down from her skull, and Aunt Lydia caught a view of her up in the window, and quicker than a flash, Mrs. Bale snatched her ass by her hair and pulled her out of that damn window. We go back to the holdout, and they trying to figure out what their next move is. Like, should they stay there or should they go? And June says to Moira that she understands how she would tell Nick all this information. No, ma'am. Ain't no fucking understanding there. June was like, I trusted him for so long, I forgot who I was. A slave. That's what you were, girl. A sex fucking slave. Yes, you forgot that you were that when you was in his arms. It made you forget that. And she like, well, should I stay or should I go? Okay. And Moira was like, I'm so sick of Moira pacifying her ass too. She had that one good moment of telling her off, and then at the end of that conversation, she pacified her again, and here she is pacifying her now. He never gave you reason not to trust him. Well, let's start with his existence. Let's start with the roles that he's played. Let's add on the fact that he did not ever attempt to help her get her fucking daughter. Let's top it off where he used her daughter to get the other handmaids. Have we forgot? He is the one who told Commander Lawrence how to do it, how to break June. He's given her ample reasons not to trust her. But June goes in there to to Luke and says, I couldn't think of how much I was hurting you. And then Luke pacifies her too. I'll keep calling this man Nick. Luke pacifies her too. And he said, well, you've gone through so much. And I'm like, fuck that. Fuck that. And I hear y'all in the comment section, Stockholm Syndrome. I know. And that's the same thing that Luke was saying to her too. And she was like, no, we can't keep blaming it on that. And that's exactly what I said too. No, we ain't gonna keep blaming it on that. Okay? This is exactly why you don't trust June with shit. Because of that fucking Stockholm Syndrome. Especially if you knew all along this is how she felt. That was your dumb ass fault, Luke. Well, she slipped right on into the gaslighting. Don't stay with me out of pity. Don't stay with me if I make you feel unsafe. Is she talking about the resistance or is she talking about Luke? Either way, tell her I'm not in bounds. That's what you should do, right? But instead, he like, well, what do you want, June? What is it that you want? That's how you get manipulated and gaslit into situations. It ain't you, Luke. She don't want you. Okay? And you already knew this. She ain't even worried about y'all child. Y'all rarely bring her up. You the one who have to keep bringing her up. June says, do you think that she the only reason we still together? Or y'all together? Luke says, no. I agree. That's not the reason. Because Hannah has not ever been part of the fucking equation. Luke, you there because of guilt. You feel guilty that you didn't go find her. June, she only there just pretending that she has not been a changed woman. When she actually still the same woman that she always been. It's her second married man, but okay. Anywho, so they let June hang around. They gonna let her stay, which is beyond my fucking understanding. Knowing June, she has to find a way to get rid of the guilt herself. She has to be the hero. So she will come up with a plan to save the day. And while she is sitting there in tears, a random car pulls up. You know what I'm saying? It's Commander fucking Joey. I'm confused on why he know where the holdout is. Why does he know where their location? This is a secret location for the resistance, is it not? But apparently he said he's been still helping them. Not sure how he's been helping them. He not only pulls up to the house, he got Tuello in the car with him. Okay. He spots June and then heads inside. This is what's bugging me here, y'all. Everything's bugging me, y'all know this, but this is what's bugging me. Ellen is furious that he's there. Ellen is furious that he's giving her orders, this, that, the third. Tuello tells her to chill, because he's not the one to expose us. Tuello, you are not Mayday. You've said it a million times before. You are just helping them out, but you are not Mayday. You should have no fucking voice at all, or any say over who is allowed into or around Mayday. Ellen really needs to put a check on her motherfucking people and her damn command of operation. Lawrence tells June that he always thought that she was an idiot for trusting Nick. June says, well, you trusted him too. No, he didn't. He never trusted Nick. She just doesn't take the real accountability for what she chooses to do. Her response is, you did it too. You did it. Well, you did. That's always her fucking response. That does not absolve you, woman. Okay? Lawrence said, I told him what I wanted him to know. I didn't get caught up in his fucking charm. But he wants her to convince Mayday to go after the commanders again. This is where I find Mayday as a weak tool. Not the fact that they civilians. They have no fucking common sense. That's what it is to me. You mean to tell me the only operation that they had was against Gilead simply because the planes got shot down? Y'all didn't have no other objectives before then? No contingency plans if things went sour? This explains to me why the next book, the Testaments, is even in existence. Because how the fuck do we get there? Okay, one of the commanders of the oppressors is asking one of the victims to help take out his comrade in arms so he can become the leader, the head oppressor in charge. And they like, okay, let's go get it. Let's go do it. Make it make sense. She like, I got nothing for you right now. He said, so you gonna quit? You gonna give up? You gonna let Serena Joy win? Serena Joy didn't quit. She's like, why do you think I care about what Serena is doing? Lawrence knows exactly what to say. June cares 100% what Serena Joy is doing. And if June hadn't been hurt by Nick, she would be happy for Serena Joy's wedding. She wouldn't be indifferent. But Lawrence threw that guilt back in her face. He said, you're going to be sitting up here chilling while the handmaids is kissing her feet at her wedding. Is this how your legacy going to end? They don't bother you at all? June says, well, my legacy came to an end when those women died. He reminds her that Janine ain't dead. That's what you said you was there for. Okay, she ain't dead. But she wish she was, because she would bail. June says, I hope she kills him in his sleep. She started to walk away, but then something made her pause. Something Lawrence had said about the wedding. There are going to be handmaids there. Now, I can give a damn about the fact that Serena Joy didn't want the handmaids there. And that June doesn't know this fact. Because I don't give a damn about Serena Joy. They put that out there so it could change her image in y'all's head. Fans. That was to soften the blow about Serena Joy, to make it seem like she really can be redeemed and she's a changed woman. But June doesn't know this. So June says, I've lost my train. I'm like, what the fuck did I write there? I swear if y'all see my notes, it didn't make no sense what I typed down there. I was sleeping when I typed this. Anywho, so June devises a plan. Let's hit their ass at the wedding. I told y'all she was going to be the one that's going to be the Captain Save-A-Ho. No one will know what hits them. Ellen is not so sure, because we just got exposed to Jezebels, that all those women died. You didn't get exposed, sweetheart. Okay? You were told on by the one woman who's sitting here telling you the new fucking plan. You didn't get discovered. You didn't get found out. June didn't accidentally spill the beans. She purposely told Nick what was going down. But Lawrence is saying they in their feelings right now. They in their bag. They think they won. They got the big head. This is the time to hit them and make it hurt. Ellen is like, nah, it's going to be too many handmaids in present. There. Okay, June said they trained to be silent. They're going to be good. But they don't even have weapons. I'm going to smuggle them in. Why Lawrence don't smuggle weapons in? Prove his allegiance for a change. I still don't understand how they keep going from the border to New Bethlehem or the border to Boston without being ever stopped or checked, especially when security has supposed to be heightened simply because the commanders are there. What's all this extra security? We never fucking see it. I bet you if you take a flight to Guyana right now and you get off the plane, you're going to see armed militia walking the fucking streets. That's heightened security. We don't see none of that here. And all the security been heightened for so many damn reasons. It was heightened because the commanders came to town. It was heightened because Jezebel's got blew up. It was heightened because the two dudes got killed up in no man's land. Where is security? That they able to still travel back and forth like this? There is none. Stop the fucking cap. It's my first time using cap in that sentence in the right way, y'all. I'm evolving. Well, anyway, Moira says we're going to go under the guise of being handmaids. Count me in. June had the nerve to question her. Are you sure you're going to be ready to go back in? Moira been ready. You was the one who fucked this up. Okay? You the one did that. Remember, Anyway, Luke say, hey, we still got the bombs in place, too. It'd be a shame not to use them. And I was like, y'all was not going to use them? Because of what happened to Jezebel's? Y'all wasn't going to use them? Ellen reminds them, we cannot extract y'all. Y'all go in, we can't get y'all out. And I'm so confused again. What the fuck is the point of Mayday? What do they do? Because nobody ever goes in but these people. June, Moira, they the ones who usually going in. What is that y'all fucking do? What did y'all do before Moira and Luke became part of the crew? Mayday was already in existence. What do y'all exactly do? Y'all can't never get a motherfucker out. I'm confused. What do that do? Mayday ain't never got no backup plan. They ain't never got no extraction plan. No one says on a team, if something go wrong, we gonna muster over here. If something go wrong, give the signal so the B team can take their positions and move in, because there's not a B team. Never a contingency plan. Never. And on the side note, if Lawrence has been working with Mayday this entire time, why didn't he give them the patrol routes? Why would they have to count on Nick? Lawrence was in a higher up position than Nick was. So anything that Nick can find out, Lawrence should know too. And two, how does any of this help with saving Hannah? I know that's a selfish deed. That's a selfish deed. But they keep saying their sole purpose is to get Hannah back. How is this helping Hannah? Her commander's in Washington State last we heard. As far as I know, he ain't come to the wedding either. Lawrence says that with all this confusion that's going to be in town, it's the perfect time to bring in the tiny U.S. military that we have. Ain't nobody gonna notice the military coming, because the military in what, Chicago, and where else they at? Alaska? He said the perfect time to bring in the military. Twillo is like, no, we can't do that. Security's gonna be heightened in Gilead. It's already supposed to be heightened. That's what I just said. It's already supposed to be heightened. Let me reiterate. It's supposed to be heightened because the commander was there. It's supposed to be heightened because the 2 Gordons were killed in no man's land. It's supposed to be heightened because of the Jezebel situation. What are we talking about here? Are we talking about heat-seeking missiles? Is that the heightened security? We gonna need heat-seeking missiles gonna be out there aiming for anybody who not under his eye? Make it make sense. But June says Serena is going to insist that there's going to be more guardians at least, meaning they're going to need to pull resources from the border and from all over the city. Why would you have to take from the border? There's places like D.C. There's other places. Gilead is not just D.C. and Boston. Gilead is all over. Remember, the only 2 states that wasn't Gilead was Alaska and Hawaii, and in the country of Guam. Chicago's still a stronghold. It hasn't been completely overtaken. But you can get guardians from anywhere. Why you have to take them from the border? They don't exist there any doggone way. As we can see, they keep crossing back and forth with no problem. No resistance. None of that. Wheeler's dudes up in Chicago, up in Canada, they supposed to have been commanding doggone no man's land. They ain't been nowhere to be found. Anywho, they said they're going to pull them from the border. And they're going to pull them from all over Boston, making Boston vulnerable because they all going to be sitting in on that damn wedding. So Lawrence arrives in New Bethlehem and he's able to get tubes of white powder to Rita. Rita, who has been so reluctant to do anything, is now all of a sudden the Black Widow. She's going to poison the cake because remember, she's making the cake for Serena Joy. Next, Lawrence makes a stop at the Red Center and makes a plan to get Aunt Lydia out of the city. If I hear one more comment about Aunt Lydia being redeemed, I'm going to throw the fuck up. She is still lock, stock, and barrel under his eye. She still believes that what the handmaids are forced to do is God's will. She wants them to have a life afterwards when they can't have babies no more. I don't know what her idea of retirement is. She keeps saying retired handmaids. I don't know what her idea of retired is, because as long as you are fertile in Gilead, you are vessels. And she ain't got an issue with them being vessels. Look how joyous she was. Look how relieved she was that Janine was a handmaid again. Fuck Aunt Lydia. I agree. She was a little bit perturbed, a little bit mad when the wives abused the girls. But that's only when they was pregnant. And she was an orchestrator of many of that torture and trauma as well, and would do it again by God's grace. So why is he removing her from the situation? Is it only because she's going to recognize June and Moira? All the other aunts in the Red Center should recognize June and Moira. If not recognizing, they should be at least aware that these two extra women ain't supposed to be here. But I think I make too much sense. So while Lawrence was inside trying to convince Aunt Lydia to leave the city, another aunt was outside eyeing Lawrence's car. She stood there for a moment, and then she moved towards the vehicle. But a guardian stopped, the one who let Lawrence in the gate, asking her did she need something. She's like, yeah. Now it's little things like this that irk me, y'all. Everything fucking irk me, but y'all know it's little things like this irks me. She was heading east to the car when the guardian stopped her. She told the guardian that she was concerned about a hole in the fence. Maybe it was a chipmunk. Maybe it was a squirrel. Could have been a girl. Okay? So he wants to go check it out. She was headed east towards Lawrence's car. He approached her. And instead of heading east to the car, he turned around and goes south. Y'all didn't see my directions. East to the car. East to the car. Turns around, goes south. That's what he did. That's what he did. He turned around and that irks my soul. So he left her standing there by the car. And when he walked off, she goes and pops the trunk. And inside was June and Moira, laying in there looking stupefied, like, oh shit, our aunt has found us. And it wasn't until she said, let the revolution begin, that they felt relief. She was able to get them through this big ass building, highly secured Red Center. It wasn't even the same Red Center. Okay, but that's okay. They went through there undetected. She tells them that the handmaids are on board, and so is the Martha's network. But Janine is unaware because she's under lock and key by Commander Bell. June says, oh, I got that. Let me handle that. Really? Here you go off again. It wasn't part of y'all plan. How you gonna handle that, June? I guess we just gonna have to see. But it's getting closer to go time, and nerves are starting to kick in. The wedding is the next day, and they have to remind themselves of their purpose. And Moira requests June gives them words of encouragement. Now outside, the aunt had ran into Lydia, and she basically a stupid story about she was looking for a mop. And Lydia like, something off with that shit. Something ain't making sense. But she walks home, and inside, June and Moira sitting there fidgeting, fussing, you know what I'm saying? They have to remind themselves of their purpose. And Moira requests that June gives them some words of encouragement. So June recites a very shortened, deeply revised version of Psalm 23, a Psalm of David. And then she ends with the prayer asking for strength to murder those motherfuckers. A fucking man. And that was the end of this episode, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. I will drop the links in the description section for the Discord channel, and I will also drop the link for my website, Survive Beauty and Skincare, so y'all can pick y'all up some items and help out with the disaster relief in St. Louis, or just simply donate. I appreciate y'all being here, and we're gonna get episode 8 later today. Episode 8 later today, and episode 9 will be on Monday. Peace.